Jay Vidovich in his 9th year with the Panthers, manning the sidelines for the 2nd-ranked team in the country. As Pitt started the year unranked and has now found themselves in the top 10 for a couple of weeks in a row here. Highest ranking for the Panthers since 2022.
Yeah, looking forward to this one tonight, Kevin. Two teams really in rich veins of form. Boston College have been a bit of a surprise, I would say, but they've only been able to get 1 point from their first 2 ACC games, whereas Pitt is 2-0 with 2 wins. But Boston College quite likes the role of the underdog, and they'll be relishing that challenge tonight, coming in here against the number 2 team in the country.
A couple of changes from the Clemson match a week ago for Boston College in their starting formation. Leo Guarino, the Wake Forest transfer, he's going to be in on the left side of that midfield. And then number 16, Marcy Colleen, transfer from Cal State Fullerton, he's going to be in the center midfield. So tonight, Bob Thompson and his staff electing to go with some experience and putting 3 of his big transfers in the lineup against the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, not a bad move as far as I'm concerned. You're definitely going to want your wits about you tonight and all the experience that you can muster. I know that Boston College is short a few players because of injuries coming into the preseason, and so they'll need to put it together tonight.
Ball into the box from Svenby off the right. There's Grenning. He'll boot it back to Mayufo. So Pitt with possession in the attacking third. Centered up here. Line toward the net and wide left there by Svenby as Grenning tried to repay the favor.
Bit of an awkward stab at the ball there from the right back. Didn't really get a great shot off at it.
So right away, David, Casper Grenning getting into the mix.
Oh, he's a problem for any defender. You see Svenby coming in to the top of the box. Yeah, doesn't get a good strike on that ball, but good attacking intent from Pitt. We know the Panthers will look to control the ball today, turn their possession into goal-scoring opportunities for Boston College. They're going to have to defend well and pick their moments to press and break out in transition. Coach Thompson talked about the fact they're going to have to be at their best, and it's a great test of their mentality. They've got good confidence coming into this game, and they've been working on their formation and matchups for this game tonight. They know Pitt can wear them down, so they'll have to be on point and really communicating well and staying strong and organized from the front to the back.
Bob Thompson told us he likes to kind of change things up based on the opponent he's facing, so he wasn't quite sure a couple of days ago what he was going to do lineup-wise against these Pitt Panthers. But what a game they played against Clemson up in Chestnut Hill last weekend. Lost 1-0 to the Tigers, who were number 5 at the time. Didn't concede a goal until the 72nd minute. What a beauty it was by Misei Yoshizawa. Left-footed bender to the back post. But they really finished that game strong, David. They were outshot 8-1 in the first half. In the second half, 11-5 shots advantage for BC.
Yeah, it's testament to some of the adjustments that coaches are capable of making and their fortitude to really stay strong against a top opponent in Clemson. Come out and really throw some punches of their own in the second half, and almost, I know they were disappointed not to get more out of that game.
Bob Thompson told us that they thought that a tie would have been a fair result for them. But he loved the self-belief that his team showed as the game wore on into the second half. Kind of credited them for changing the game, moving things in their direction in the second half. They'd love to perform well on the road here tonight. Another top 5 opponent in Pitt.
Yeah, and I think that game speaks a lot about the progression of this Boston College side, because last year when they went down to Clemson, they got beat 6-0. So a 1-0 defeat in a tight match in comparison seems like quite a good advancement in your squad. And I think that's a good indicator of how far they've come along in 1 year.
Brought in some experience, and they had some injuries in the preseason. As you said, David, there's a foul in the center there. It's Jack Burkhart taking down Arnau Villamajana. They bring in some experience, and then with the injuries, some of the young guys that got big minutes last year, that development time that they used last year has made their back line really formidable, because the big minutes they played last year are now showing up this season. Here's Grenning challenging that back line. Across the center of the box, nobody on the back post. Klein had to dive to try and get a hand on it.
Nice burst out of Grenning down the line, fizzing the ball across the face of the goal. No Panther could get on the other end of it, but Grenning's been a big addition to this Panther team, and he really terrorizes defenders down that left-hand side. Tonight he's matched up with Max Andrews from Boston College. Grenning can hurt you a lot of different ways, and we saw that in the games we've seen so far, but particularly last week when Pitt beat Louisville 3-2 here on this field. Grenning was, dare I say, dominant, particularly in the first half, and then terrorized Louisville down that left-hand side. But Pitt likes to switch it from side to side, and they've got equally as dangerous players down that right-hand side. The combination of Thorsen and Svenby in particular, the two Norwegians, has been another strong addition to Pitt, the Scandinavian connection.
And another Norwegian that's prolific in the scoring department in Ask Eklund on the other side. This one booted into Brennan Klein. He'll get rid of it as he was challenged by Guilherme Feitosa, wearing the captain armband, number 10 for Pitt.
Great matchups all over the pitch tonight. We talked about Sam Cow in the open. He's going to definitely cause problems for the back line of Boston College, and we know Boston College likes to get vertical as well, and they're going to look to challenge Pitt in the back as well.
There's an example of it right there as Max Andrews booted it up top for Xavier O'Neal. But Pitt is able to come away with the ball.
And it looks like to start for Boston College, O'Neal's been more central in that attacking center midfield role combined with Eklund, whereas Marco Dos Santos is playing more primarily out here on the right-hand side.
Dos Santos, number 21 in red, on the ball right now.
Talking to Coach Vidovic, he was curious to see how Boston College would press, at what moments they would choose to press. He talked about the fact that him and his coaching staff had seen him do some different things in some different games, and there wasn't really a consistent pattern to how they tried to attack their opponent.
That was Sorensen looking up top for Svenby, but C.J. Williams, number 25, comes away with it. Bob Thompson said that his back line, his back four plus Brennan Klein, those 5 players are the most cohesive unit he's had at Boston College in his 5 seasons there. Really likes what he's gotten out of them. They were fantastic as a unit against Clemson.
Yeah, some really strong players across that back line. They've been together for a couple years now. They've built up that chemistry, good communication, and they really work well together as a unit, as you mentioned. So nice opening 10 minutes or so here, almost 10 minutes. Pitt's had their spells of possession. Boston College has looked to get forward a couple times. So both teams are kind of settled in quite nicely. When Boston College played Syracuse, they were down 1-0 after 45 seconds. So this is a relatively calm beginning for the Eagles.
BC really struggled to score last year. 12 goals in 17 games last season. Already with 10 goals in 7 games this year. So they've improved in the attack, become more direct. They like to counter and capitalize on those transitional plays. Whereas Pitt likes to build out, they like to possess. They like their numbers in the 60-70% range for the possession numbers. Look to wear you down, score in the second half.
Yeah, they definitely like to pick their opponents apart, create odd man situations, look for weak points, areas to attack that they think they can exploit. Boston College will be happy to absorb pressure, absorb possession, and look to break out when they can.
This is blown offside. They were looking to release Christian Behar up the left.
We know he can get high down the left-hand side as well, and he's someone that's a dynamic player for them. Another one, the young Eagles, that stepped up for them this season, become a starter where he really hadn't started very much in previous seasons. Someone who's impressed his coach a lot, and he gives them a nice attacking element down that left-hand side when he has opportunities to get up. But you know, he's got to be careful tonight because Albert Thorson's standing behind him, and he's going to be looking to pounce if any of these Eagle players get caught out of position or too far up the pitch. That's part of the methodical approach that the Panthers have. Look for a weakness, find a mistake, and capitalize on it.
Out wide for Svenby. Centered back up Michael Sullivan. Chipping it through the box to Thorson, and there's Williams to clean it up. So Pitt, number 2 in the country. 2 wins to start the ACC season. 1 on the road against then number 22 SMU, and then last week against unranked Louisville on this field. Also knocked off Cleveland State on the road 4-1 on Tuesday. Jay Vidovich was really pleased with the effort that his team put in against Louisville. Felt they dominated that game. Here's Villamanjana with a liner toward the net. It's off the crossbar.
Line drive, absolute laser off the foot of Villamanjana. Defenders didn't step up to him. They gave him an opportunity, and he took a rip.
There's a foul. It'll be Pitt possession. What a quick release from Arnau Villamanjana in the center.
Yeah, you could tell he was thinking it, had some space. No one stepped up, and he just took a rip. Didn't quite dip enough to find the back of the net. Goalie's a bit fortunate. The crossbar was there for him. Another yard. If he was another yard back, that might have dipped just enough to get under the crossbar. But I think if Boston College is going to sit back and defend, then that's one of the ways that the Panthers may be able to get themselves on the scoreboard.
Jay Vidovich gave Arnau Villamanjana a ton of credit for his effort against Louisville, too. Said he really set the pace for his team. If he wanted to push, then Pitt would push. If he wanted to slow things down, then they would slow things down. Looks like he's setting the tone already tonight.
Yes, a credit to him. He's in his first year in the collegiate game.
Mayufo sends one in. It's headed for a moment by Villamanjana. Now it settles with Pitt once again. Grenning finds himself on the opposite side of the pitch. They'll keep possession.
BC has a look of a team that's going to defend doggedly and look to release on counterattack in transitions when they have the opportunity. Pitt's playbook is pretty well known around the ACC. Coaches know that they like to have a lot of the ball, that they're really good in possession, that they switch the ball around, they use a lot of the field. They really provide a stern test to their opponents. Bob Thompson talking about the fact that he loves to compete against Jay Vidovich, and it's an exciting challenge to bring his team here to compete against the Panthers, and he knows he'll leave the game having learned something. Gave a lot of credit to Coach Vidovich and the job he's done here at Pitt.
There's a transition play for Pitt. Villamanjana pushing once again. Gets it past Andrews. Tries to leave it for Grenning, but not enough on it, and he's upset with himself immediately.
But you could see there Arnie V decided to push, and they pushed. So, you know, I think he's looking to have himself a night tonight and really impact this game. Certainly got a lot of credit from his coach for his abilities. So seems like his coach seems to think he can impact the game even more than he has done to this point in time. Look, coach is looking for him to see if he can go 90 minutes out there tonight. I think he's struggled to really find his legs and the amount of endurance needed for the American college game as compared to perhaps the Spanish European game that he's been used to playing for the last few years. It's a bit different. Definitely physical. The running seems to never stop.
Well, it's clear for Villamanjana, and Jay Vidovich told us this to start the year, that he thought that you know, as the year wore on, he could step into that role that Filip Mirkovic filled for this team for a number of years. Those College Cup teams that the Panthers found themselves deep in the postseason. It was a lot of it was led by Filip Mirkovic, who was drafted this past year. He was the same type of player, set the tone. Jay Vidovich called him the metronome for a number of years, and looks like he's found the answer to try and fill that hole left by Mirkovic with now Vilimejana.
Yeah, and I think too that's where the other midfield players complement Vilimejana. Michael Sullivan tonight playing that holding centre midfield is able to sit in a little bit more. You've got Guilherme Fotosa up above him, so you know, getting to know the players around you as well, and being able to trust when you can go and when you need to stay. That's a big part of it, and that chemistry takes time. I mean, this is only the 8th game of the season, and the season comes at you quick, so you have to develop the chemistry quickly, and that can be a challenge, but it looked like they're handling it very well.
Sullivan pushing, eventually taken away, but now Grenning wins possession back on the left side.
Dogged win by Grenning there. He's able to take the ball off Max Andrews' foot. And that's some of the pressure that Pitt likes to put on their opponent. If they lose the ball, it's not for very long, that press and counter press. But Pitt will certainly be looking for a way through here. Boston College has started the game really well from an organizational and defensive standpoint, but Pitt's going to continue to probe throughout the game and try different points of attack, but they've been really leaning a lot on the left side here.
Grenning near post, knocked out. Looked like Colleen was trying to send it up the sideline there to Dos Santos. Didn't like where that ball was placed. So Pitt with possession once again. And they'll do this all night if they need to. Taking a couple of shots already. Some good chances. But they will wear you down and make you wait. Here's Grenning in space. Back to the center. Firing this shot. Far post. Couldn't bend it enough. Just wide right.
Nice effort. I felt like he just didn't get the shot off a little bit quick enough. He cut in and I thought it was there, but the ball seemed to take a few turns, and by the time he got it off, he was bending it around the outside post. But it's Colleen who he cuts in on right here. It's on his right foot right there. I thought he might get the shot off, but he takes one more touch and then takes the rip. And I just think he missed the opportunity to get that shot off just a fraction earlier, but definitely dangerous. And as we said, he can cut in and he can cut out. He can go down to the line and pull it back for someone else. He likes to line himself up with a shot. So there are a ton of ways that that young man can hurt you.
All the scoring chances really outside of Vilimejana's liner from the midfield that hit the crossbar. The rest of them have been started by Grenning.
Yeah, I think there they were trying to get down the right-hand side. I could see Svenby got released from the right-back position, but Thorson couldn't get it to him. But this is where Boston College is going to have to keep their mentality strong and stay focused and organized, because, you know, as you mentioned, Pitt tries to wear you down and stretch you out, and you know, that's where sometimes you get caught out position or mistakes happen, and I think that's really the challenge coming in here and facing this Panther team. I think that's why they're the #2 team in the country. You know, they have a lot of different weapons. They are patient. They have a really strong philosophy of how they want to play, how they want to possess, control the ball, and really look to find seams that they can crack you open with.
Svenby one-on-one here against Guarino.
And Svenby's proven to be quite a dangerous asset along the right-hand side, jumping up from the right-back position. And Jay Vidovich talked about him as part of his attacking unit.
Vilimejana looking for Sam Cow in the center. Now Mayufo wins possession back just for a moment. Now here comes that BC counter. Xavier O'Neal with a mistouch. He's going to have to turn around.
Good pressure by Sullivan to force Boston College back. One of the things that Coach Vidovic mentioned about Boston College was that the goalkeeper, Brennan Klein, can launch it pretty far, and they can get deep into Pitt's half very, very rapidly also. And so you want to be careful of ways that you can get hurt yourself from a Pitt standpoint. But the longer this game's 0-0, Boston College will remain happy and know that they're doing their job and executing their game plan and their version of events. Certainly they'll be looking to capitalize when they have opportunities, but they're not going to sell the farm trying to create them. Ask Eklund's been quiet to this point, not even sure if he's touched the ball. But Boston College has been doing a fine job in terms of beating the Panthers back. Okay, Tosa got a bear hug in there, it looked like, from Colleen.
Yeah. Boston College will look to build. Looking up top there for Eklund, and Sullivan was able to cut it off. Eklund with the ball at his feet now.
Definitely a hot one here in Pittsburgh tonight. I mean, it's still probably 80, 82 degrees. Fall has not yet arrived, thankfully, although we do know it's coming soon. Homecoming weekend here at the University of Pittsburgh. Lots going on. I know the volleyball team's playing right now as well. Football game tomorrow. Women's soccer faced North Carolina last night, so definitely a great sporting calendar here at the University of Pittsburgh.
Men's soccer alumni at the game tonight.
Men's soccer alumni at the game, so I think they'll be playing their alumni game tomorrow. A few of those guys are currently playing for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, so they're probably thinking about their game tomorrow as well, but it's nice that they're still in town. I think there's 3 Panthers currently on the Riverhounds roster, and that's great to see, playing in USL.
Here's a ball for Thorson. He's centering this up, looking for Samkow. Booted away by Colleen.
Yeah, Pitt hasn't been quite as dangerous down the right-hand side as they have been down the left, but that's something they'll continue to probe as they move through this game. We have seen them at times so far this season be absolutely dominant down that right-hand side, and so it only takes one opportunity, and that's something they'll be looking for. Behar right now is occupied with Thorson, and Svenby is way out on the far touchline looking for the ball. Good technical ability across this back line for Boston College, so they'll be looking to see if they can find opportunities to play out when they win possession. But right there you see one mistake on a pass, and it's right back to the Panthers, and they'll look to turn the grips of the vice a little bit more.
Sullivan with a head of steam now. Grenning with a quick move, finds some space, fires a shot, stopped by Klein.
I think that's the shot he was looking for the play before, when he just banged it around the post, but forced a save from Klein on this occasion, and Klein was up to the challenge. Nice save by the keeper, low and hard coming in from Grenning.
So he's gone far post on that cutback move, and now near post.
Here it comes again.
Looking opposite side for Thorson. Too much on it.
Max Andrews seems to keep losing him, and Colleen seems to be dropping into Mark Grenning when he comes through. You see there, Andrews can't keep track of him as he cuts across. It's almost like he's got a free shot on goal, so he's had 2 rips from that sort of look, and I would imagine if he gets a third, it might be might find the back of the net. Grenning really has a nose for the goal. I remember seeing him in practice over the course of the summertime, and he was really hungry to find the net and was firing off shots.
Grenning, when he was at Kentucky, A couple of years ago, it's an unbeaten Wildcat squad, and he had 11 goals in 21 games. That team was upset in the national tournament by these Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, he's doing well with his one-on-one matchup so far tonight. Causing problems for Boston College down the left-hand side, and now here comes Thorson down the right.
Thorson one-on-one against Christian Behar. Talked about how good he's been for BC, and commits a foul that time.
Thorson's been a real danger for the Panthers as well. I know he's got himself 4 goals on a season, and he likes to get a shot off himself. Strong player, had a good freshman campaign, and he's following it up with an excellent sophomore display so far.
Had 5 goals a year ago, already with 4 this season in 7 games. That tends to be the trend across both these rosters so far. Everybody kind of jumping up and equaling out or getting close to their totals from all of last season. Pitt with the free kick, headed by Eklund, and Grenning whiffs on that attempt.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, I think these 2 teams are really the 2 biggest surprises in the ACC. I mean, Pitt was preseason ranked 9th in the ACC coming in, and right now they're the number 2 team in the country, and I know there's a lot of roads still to travel, but that says a lot. Boston College, I think a lot of people really overlook them, but just their start and their ACC play so far has really been commendable and strong, and just like we've seen here tonight, they're proven to be organized and really good in terms of having a game plan and sticking to it and really working for their opportunities and frustrating and holding their opponents off. And also we'll see generally they've come out in second halves more aggressive, as you mentioned about that Clemson game last week. We know that they're a physical unit, and they definitely are capable of playing off a mistake and making sure that they transition well, getting vertical.
Here comes Dos Santos playing off of a mistake and a mistouch by Svenby. And there's Carter to grab it at the back for Pitt. Carter, another really solid season for him. Was great last year for the Panthers, coming off of surgery in the offseason, and he's looked as strong as ever. 5-0 so far this year in the 5 starts he's gotten between the pipes for Pitt.
The commander-in-chief for this Panther team keeps his back line organized, very vocal, made some huge saves over the course of this season. Made some big saves at big moments, in particular down at SMU. I remember a couple that really changed the momentum of that game.
Here's Thorson with a ball across the box, nobody there.
It was a bit too heavy. Grenning was cutting in, and I think Thorson was expecting him to stay a little bit wider and head towards the far post.
Couple of subs coming on for Boston College. Diego Ochoa, the captain, he comes on, as well as Brian Toro. Toro had started the last couple of games. So Colleen will come off and Guarino will come off. Diego Ochoa, nice to see him back out there working his way back. He was out for a year, 3 games this year, 1 start, played 62 minutes on Tuesday. So Ochoa working his way back slowly.
Bob Thompson looking to use his roster, keep healthy, fresh legs out there, make sure that he's able to match the tempo, withstand this Pitt possession and how they move the ball around, how they try to stretch you out. If you can keep the legs fresh, especially in the central midfield, it's going to help them out a lot. We were a bit surprised Colleen started, but you know, they went with the experience, and now you see Tara, the young man, coming in, the freshman from Revere, Massachusetts. Had an opportunity to kind of watch how this game started, and now he can come in and do the job his coach needs him to do.
Good contest on the near touchline with Grenning and Max Andrews. That's been an interesting battle so far tonight. There's Toro.
I'm wondering if that might be a formational switch as well, or if it's just going to be on the left-hand side where Ochoa fits in at left back and now Behar is able to get further up the left-hand side, or if that's really to account for the movement and the way that Svenby's been jumping up into the play. Definitely, it looks like Ochoa was sent out there to play sort of left center back position or left back, so we'll see. He got inserted in.
And it looks like O'Neal is now kind of out wide right as well.
So some tactical adjustments made by the Boston College coaching staff, maybe looking to get themselves a bit more possession themselves and a bit more attacking intent themselves. You talked about, again, the Clemson game, how they were able to establish themselves from an offensive standpoint more strongly in the second half. So there's various chess matches being played, and Bob Thompson choosing to make some adjustments to see if he can gain his side an advantage midway through this first half.
See, there are a couple of ACC results. He's really happy with that Syracuse game too. He thought they might have deserved a win there, but he said, you know, Syracuse only had 3 good chances in that entire game, so he was really happy with how they defended. Obviously pleased with the Clemson result for the most part, even though he wanted a point out of it. But a good start to the year so far for BC, and I really loved the kind of self-awareness that he and his squad have. He told us that, you know, they're not fooling themselves. They know as a collective unit that they're an underdog in the ACC, and talent was never just going to be enough for them. They were going to have to establish culture and have that piece first, and then they could go out and find talent. So he spent the last couple of years establishing that culture, and now this year went and got some transfer portal additions to add to that, and it seems like they're paying off so far.
Yeah, he talked about guys with a team-first mentality and making sure that they recognize, you know, that one, they are up against the challenges, but also looking to push the needle, right? So being able to constantly improve and increase the belief and see what you can do as a collective. We know that that was something that they looked to do with the transfers that they brought in also, was increase and improve that team mentality. Talked about their key off-season needs, needing more goals, but also needing more experience and looking to up the age of the squad. And I think that that speaks to all of that, being able to just have a bit more focus on the prize, a bit more collective buy-in in terms of what you're trying to do and how to do it.
Said that everybody is aligned kind of as one. Feels really good about where they're at.
We've heard a lot of the same things out of Jay Vidovic this season as well, in terms of their additions and what they've been able to add to their squad and the difference it's made for the Panthers.
Villamejana rips another one. This one too high.
Oh, he's feeling it tonight, getting a bit greedy now, you know. That one sailed on him a bit, but again, Boston College wasn't able to close him down quick enough, and he had a sniff a goal and took a rip. And you love to see it, and if you're Pitt, you should be looking for those opportunities. If they present themselves, take a rip.
He was averaging 1 shot a game coming into this. Just 7 in 7 games already, with a couple tonight.
There you go, season high, and not even halftime.
Wonder what his pregame meal was. I know you missed yours today, so we'll see if you're top-notch performance or not.
My pregame meal was a Mountain Dew today.
That's an interesting choice. I'm not feeling quite the energy that the Mountain Dew should be giving you.
I think it's the fact that it's 85 degrees, 85% humidity.
That might have something to do with it. I'm sure the caffeine helps that as well.
Yeah, I don't need a sub though. You don't have to reward me by subbing me out, Kevin.
I see. I'm sure you'd feel rewarded if you didn't have to talk to me for the rest of the game.
I'm trying to pace myself, you know. I have a feeling that this game is going to turn up a whole nother notch in the second half, and so I don't want to use it all up in the first half.
Well, it tends to go that way in these games. We've seen it many times.
I'm trying to go 90 minutes tonight, Coach.
It's just not something I'm used to, because I'm used to going 90 minutes. These games do have a habit of turning that way, though. A lot of these ACC games a little quieter in the first half. Teams feeling each other out. We're getting a lot of that tonight, I think. BC with a couple of pokes up top, looking to release some guys, but nothing's really come to fruition yet. Here comes a charge, maybe their best look so far. It's O'Neal with it now. Behar with a shot, and it's off the post. Behar, what a chance for BC.
Nice opportunity. Looked like it was going in the back of the net. Pitt gets saved by the goalpost.
Looking for O'Neill up top again. Now Sorensen tries to get rid of it.
Yeah, O'Neill did well down that left-hand side to create that opportunity, and Behar almost made Pitt pay.
A couple of quick passes. Dos Santos challenges Carter, and he slides for the save.
So there's the threat that Boston College possesses, and they'll be looking to do more of that as this game goes on. Svenby loses his man. O'Neill stays with it and finds a connection to his teammate Behar. Takes a rip. Nice cut back in for O'Neill to be able to find Behar. He doesn't hesitate to get it off his foot either. So good opportunity. They'll be disappointed they missed that one, and that would have been a good chance for Boston College to shake things up here in Pittsburgh.
Behar with one career goal came this year. Just one start last year. He's really jumped off the page for Bob Thompson and the Eagles. 7 starts this year. Played every minute coming into this one. Grenning once again tries the near post and not on target.
His third of a similar vein, cutting in from the right-hand side, losing his man and getting a shot off. Hasn't been successful with any of his 3 though. One to the right, one to the keeper, one to the left. Max Andrews struggling to contain Grenning tonight. But again, Pitt hasn't been able to find the net. They haven't really been able to find that clean opportunity to capitalize. Everything's been a little bit rushed or a little bit scuffed.
Haven't seen Sam Cow touch it very much, number 17 in white.
Yeah, we've talked about it hasn't been too much of a build-up down that right-hand side, and so they're really going to have to continue to build and find ways through. Credit to Boston College. Talk about it a lot, but they may have bent, but they haven't broken. And while Pitt's had some chances, they haven't been tremendous chances, and so that's part of the strategy, just to make it difficult, jam them up, make things difficult.
Nice touch from Feitosa. Now Mayufo just off the side of his foot. So goal kick, excuse me, coming for Brennan Klein. A couple of Panther subs will come on now. As Jay Vidovich will use one of his moments here in the new substitution rule. Noah Hall comes on. He's working his way back from injury after last year. Tore his patellar tendon, had surgery last October. Lasadal comes on. Thorson will exit. Bertrand on for Vilimanjana.
That's a lot of subs all at once for Coach Vidovich. We know he doesn't like to make too many. That's 3 at one time. That may be a season high for him in the first half of a game.
Just loves the fact that he has depth this year. He can make tactical adjustments as needed. So he's making some right now. Try and find a goal in the last 7 minutes of this first half.
And we know there was a number of Panthers that had strong displays at Cleveland State on Tuesday night, and that gave their coach a lot of things to think about in terms of how he spreads the playing time around. Lasadal now down the right-hand side. He's going to look to combine with Noah Hall. Hall's been working his way back over the course of the last 6 months from a tough injury. And he's definitely a dangerous and dynamic player down that right-hand side. Can play fullback or the wing. He'll be looking to jump up when he has opportunities.
Here comes Jonathan Murphy to spell Marcos Dos Santos. O'Neill will head to the bench as well. Michael Asare, number 14, comes on.
I love the chess match. Coaches making moves, seeing if they can positively influence the game for their team.
There's Noah Hall, number 13. He's back a couple months earlier than they expected after surgery last year. Played a season-high 34 minutes on Tuesday against Cleveland State. Gotten in sparingly this year.
There you see Asare giving Mayufu some trouble on the ball. Talked about Boston College picking their opportunities to press and force mistakes from the Panthers.
Sorensen with a turnover. Now Murphy draws a whistle.
Michael Sullivan earned another start in the central midfield tonight. Felipe Micardo's been injured. He is back in health, but Sullivan has earned the jersey, earned the right to start, and coach is hesitant to give that jersey right back to Micardo. Feels like Sullivan's earned it, and Micardo's going to have to force his way back into the lineup. Sullivan's proven to be a jack of a number of trades, playing along the back line, holding center midfield, attacking center midfield. We've seen him play forward, even on the wings at times, and fullback at times. So he is a genuine utility tool.
Tuesday they slid him back into the center back role to spell Jackson Gilman, give him a little bit of a rest. Just such a versatile tool for Jay Vidovich to have.
Yeah, and it helps really with the load management, and you know, you can't just run guys out there for 90 minutes 2 times a week and expect them to be at the top of the game, especially in a game as physical as these ACC games we see. The non-conference games can be equally as tough at times. You've always got a target on your back.
That had potential for a nice play between Bertrand and Grenning.
Bertrand, another young Spaniard that's learning the college game. He's just a freshman for this Panther squad. He'll be a good one. They love his touch, what he can bring to the offense. Nice switch there by Grenning.
Waning moments of the first half here. Still scoreless, number 2 Pitt. Controlling a lot of the possession here in the first half. BC with a couple of good chances. One off the post just a few minutes ago from Christian Behar. Pitt draws a whistle and get a free kick.
Yeah, I think of the 2 coaches, surely Bob Thompson's going to be the happiest. I think they've really frustrated the Panthers. Had a couple decent chances of your own, as you mentioned.
And that's offside. Bertrand. It does seem like this is the type of game that BC would want heading into halftime.
Well, 100%. I mean, but it's credit to their experience, their maturity, their game plan. I mean, how well organized that they have been. Just, you know, no surprise what they were going to try and do when here. It's tough to go toe to toe with Pitt in terms of trying to attack for as long as they have, trying to outpossess them. You can chase your tail and wear yourself down. So I think they've been really smart in how they've approached the game. And 0-0 at halftime, they would have signed up for that in a heartbeat. So I think, you know, as the home team, as the number 2 team in the country, it's up to Pitt to really lay down the marker and impose your will on the game.
Here's Michael Asare with space, cutting it back, stopped by Gilman. Settles back with Moritz Gundelach. Finds Behar on the left. Nice delivery.
But obviously goals change games, and so you've got to score to really control games the way you want to.
Murphy toward the net. That was on target. Carter was able to slide over and snag it.
Another moment for the Eagles. Eklund is able to knock it back for his teammate.
Sare. Pitt wanted a handball there, I think. Now they're telling Carter to just slow things down here. A minute to go in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely poised well for the second half. Pitt's controlled the ball for the most part the way they wanted to. They've attacked Boston College, but not in a clinical fashion. Haven't really been able to get the clear opportunities that they would like. Certainly Grenning might want a couple of his chances back, but I can't think of many more. Next best chance, Villamajama from range, hit the crossbar. But Sam Cow's been quiet. He's been well contained. Feitosa's been relatively quiet in the attacking centre midfield. Pitt hasn't really found the right-hand side the way that we've seen him at different points during this season. And so I think those are opportunities for them to improve in the second half.
Final seconds, Grenning centers this up. Great chance for Pitt for a moment. That'll end the first half. Felipe Mercado, number 8 in white, coming back off an injury, missing the last couple of games. He's back out there and gets things started in the middle of the circle. Also see Eben McIntyre, number 25, out there at the top of the formation for Pitt.
So that gives Sam Cow a more extended halftime break. We've talked a lot about the substitution rules, no second half re-entry, and we've seen coaches throughout this season using their rosters in different ways. We figured we'd see Mercado out there today, so Villamajama's another one that gets an extended halftime break. Mercado gets to jump back into the game and get his legs under him. As coach mentioned, he didn't have enough legs for 90 minutes, but maybe he's going to get 45 and he can be a difference maker and set the tempo for this Pitt team in the second half.
Lassadal also out there for Pitt.
And on the other side, I don't see Ask Eklund out there for Boston College, so Bob Thompson chooses this opportunity to get Eklund a longer break, and that's really basically what we've seen from these college coaches with this adjusted rule, is to kind of figure out ways to get their guys more of a rest in and around the halftime so that they can bring them on in the second half and let them empty the gas tank.
It's been interesting watching each coach kind of have their own different blueprint for how to manage this new substitution rule, no re-entry in the second half. Some coaches are okay with it, some don't love it. But either way, it's something they have to navigate. You only get 6 moments to make substitutions throughout a game. And again, some coaches like that and some don't. I remember talking to Brian Weiss of Georgetown, a guy who likes to kind of do line changes on his team and get a lot of guys in there. He can't stand the 6 moments thing. It kind of screws up the way he would like to manage the game, but other coaches feel that it speeds the game up a little bit.
Coach Vidovic likes the opportunities. It feels like 6 moments is plenty enough. He also likes the fact that the no re-entry rule is closer to the world game in terms of sort of more limiting the substitutions. Bob Thompson was very adamant about the fact that he doesn't like the no re-entry in the second half rule change and how it makes it harder on the players.
Svenby into the center for Thorson, and he bangs it into the back of the net for a goal. Pitt strikes right away. Thorson puts the Panthers up 1-0.
Thor from Norway finds the back of the net off his countryman. Pitt had been relatively quiet down the right-hand side in this first half. And the second half, they come out with the intent. Restart from Mercado. Feitosa lays it out wide for Svenby. Is able to break down the line, get the cross over. Thorson breaks for the near post, beats the keeper. Thor strikes again.
The fellow Norwegians hooking up and putting the Panthers up 1-0. And we're going to have video review, as this seems to happen on almost every goal.
Maybe looking to see if Thorson was offside. I'm sure our crew will find us some good angles to have a look.
And this year you can review to see if there's offside in any goal-scoring situation.
So immediately we see some of the halftime adjustments paying off. Svenby, the lines on the field really help, but I mean, Thorson looks to be behind the ball, so I don't see an offside there. I think this one's going to be tough to overturn if it's the offside that they're looking for. Didn't really see anything else in the build-up play that could have potentially been a foul. There's a lot of words there.
Words, words, words.
Like with all the great PowerPoints, we'll let you read those for yourself. The ball did enter the goal.
So here's from the start of the run.
So
maybe they were looking for Svenby, but he looked to be onside there too.
Was not offside. Yeah, I don't believe Thorson was either. So that's a good goal in my book. It's going to be hard to turn over.
I like that look. The crowd getting into it.
Great look by our crew down in the control room in the Pitt. Thank you. Appreciate it. Makes our job a lot easier when you can give us as much information as you do. So we appreciate all of you down there in the control room helping us out.
And that's a good goal.
Good goal.
Immediately the Panthers look to the crowd. Keep it going. 5th goal of the year for Albert Thorson. And Pitt strikes real quick in the second half. Mentioned how they're a second half team. 11 of their 16 goals this year coming in the second half. They added 12th. Jay Vidovich loves that connection between Kasper Svenby and Albert Thorson. They've known each other for a long time. They play really well together. They put that on tape for us right here tonight.
Yeah, Svenby coming in as a transfer from University of Dayton. Thorson, just a sophomore here for Pitt. Like you said, having that connection of someone from home, not only on your team, but playing down the same side of the field together. They're on a different level in terms of chemistry, and it's really paying off for the Panthers this season.
Looking for Thorson up top again. And he gets it out to Svenby. And it goes across the end line for a goal kick. Jay Vidovich, recently when we were talking about Kasper Svenby, called him the blonde blur. Well, I think there's 2 blonde blurs on that play.
Yeah, nice combination play down the right-hand side. As I've mentioned, we hadn't really seen them attack down the right as much as sometimes we have seen that in previous games, but half-time adjustment. Came down the right-hand side with more intent and immediate dividends. Not to mention you got your top goal scorer resting up on the bench. Got Grenning resting up on the bench, and so as we mentioned, that's sort of how Pitt turns the screws on teams, is they just keep throwing more and more depth at you. And as we mentioned, the second half seems to be where it gets exposed and where they really reap the benefits of that depth.
Svenby with his 2nd assist of the year. Jay Vidovich said that, as you mentioned earlier, considers Svenby to be a part of their attacking unit. He said that he thinks that Svenby could be leading this team in goals if he converted on a number of his chances so far this year. Just has 1 on the season, but really thinks that he's had a lot of really good looks at the net, and he thinks a lot more goals are going to come this year for Kasper Svenby.
Yeah, he's been a great addition to this Pitt side. Definitely allows them to really be more versatile in attack. We talked about those odd man situations. A lot of times they really create mismatches for the opposition with the overload.
Fed inside looking for Feitos on the left foot. This comes back out to Svenby now. Chips it in. Thorson keeps possession, fires. A nice job by the back line of BC to smother that ball.
McIntyre had a nice kind of chest down to Thorson there in the box. Really like that. Dealt with a difficult ball, and Pitt almost got a chance out of it.
So how about Eben McIntyre as well? Just 27 minutes on the year, 15 of those coming Tuesday against Cleveland State. Comes out in the second half, the number 9 position in that formation.
Yeah, he's a big boy that we know has a great track record for scoring goals, and so hopefully he's able to help his team assert themselves in this second half. He certainly knows how to find the back of the net. Good athletic player, tough to deal with, big body.
Up top for Lassadal. Feeds it into the center. Behar's there.
But now you see Pitt immediately pressing Boston College, making it tough for them to find their way out of the back. Pitt finds the ball again as a result, and now they're going to keep Boston College pinned back in their own half.
So Pitt with 9 shots to BC's 3. The halftime possession numbers were 70-30 in favor of Pitt. They come home, come out and smack a goal in right away. That's tough on BC. We mentioned that, you know, them getting to halftime 0-0, good sign for them, making it a 45-minute game, but you know, just a quick breakdown, a really dynamic play by Pitt. It's kind of a backbreaker for BC after fighting so hard for the first 45.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a backbreaker, but it certainly damages you in terms of, you know, your coaching staff's just made your halftime adjustments, and so to come out and concede so quickly in the second half after you've played so well and so connected and strong in the first half makes it a challenge. But, you know, all they have to do is be able to reset, make sure that they stay focused. We talked about that maturity, increased experience, so they just need to not lose their heads, stay focused, stay in the game, and prevent Pitt from scoring their second.
Pitt, when they score first in the last 6 years, 52-3-3. With the way that they possess, they can get on the board first. Kind of changes the whole game for them. They can start to manage it.
Yeah, for sure. And while last season they struggled a bit more holding on to leads, this season they've been really good with leads. And so it seems like they're back to their old selves, so to speak. But I know that Coach Vidovic was a bit disappointed that they weren't more ruthless against Louisville last weekend. They had a 2-0 lead going into halftime and kind of allowed Louisville to get back in the game. And so I think it will be something that he's looking for as an improvement from his side, to be able to really snuff out the opportunities and, you know, find the next one and probably the next one after that to see if they can put this game to bed and not make it sort of some of the slog that they had against Louisville last week, where they really allowed Louisville to stay in the game probably longer than they would have liked. But that was a credit to Louisville, and we'll be seeing if Boston College can earn their way back into this game tonight.
Through 7 games entering tonight, 6 wins, matched their win total from a season ago. See, it matches the goal total as well from last year. They're conceding less, they're scoring more. That's usually a good recipe for winning.
Yeah, the other thing is Pitt's already had 2 3-game win streaks this season. They're on a 3-game win streak right now, and I don't think they strung together 2 wins at all last season, and so it really helps you build a great season.
Shot toward Klein, saved. It was Lassadal.
So important to string wins together. Nice effort by Dahl, but the goalie was able to handle it. It's going to be important for Klein to stay strong at the back for Boston College, keep his back line in front of him organized and focused.
BC trying to feed Jonathan Murphy at the top on the right. Pitt wins possession again. Out wide for Dahl, can't hold on to it. Lassadal, another addition to this program this year, 4 assists, tied for the lead in the ACC, top 15 in Division I.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him myself. A real dangerous player, really nice piece off the bench for Pitt. He really helps them stretch the game out, can play the left-hand side and the right-hand side. As you mentioned, a number of assists already this season. Been a great addition. He himself is a true freshman, and so to have that kind of impact in your first year is really impressive. And he's a Dane like Grenning, and so again we've talked about the Scandinavian influence on this Pitt team this year. They've really been bright sparks and helped Pitt to get going.
Feitosa and Thorson. Mayufo to Dahl. Dahl taken down. It's going to be a corner.
Boston College looking a bit tired. I'm sure the goal was deflating, and so it's going to be important that they hold strong. Pay attention to the details, the matchups, stay alert, stay focused.
Feitosa will take it to Dahl. Now Mayufo out top. Flicks it in. Headed out by Gundelach. Beat everybody to the ball in the air. Now here comes Behar. BC looking to counter quickly.
Yeah, Pitt doing a good job getting back and regaining possession. I saw Thorson was getting after him. Jackson Gilman coming back with speed, so great recovery by Pitt. Thought Behar might be able to get going and get something on the move for Boston College.
There's a foul as Feitosa's taken down.
No cards in this game, Kev.
Not yet.
No cards, right?
No cards.
So we haven't mentioned the referee, so that means he's doing a good job. But we know Boston College can be physical and aggressive, and that's part of what's helped them be able to make it difficult for teams to beat them down.
Sare pressuring Carter to get rid of it. Carter's so good with the ball at his feet.
And that's Boston College really choosing when they have the opportunity to pressing hard in that final third there. There's clearly a cue or a trigger that's making them try to force the turnover when Pitt's trying to play from deep out their back. But Pitt's able to find a way out. Mikado helped that a lot, shaking his hips.
Look at this ball. Gorgeous up top for Dahl. Mayufo with a nice feed. I think it is interesting, too, to note that Michael Sullivan and Felipe Mercado are on the field together here.
Yeah, Sullivan's done really well with his minutes. We've talked about his versatility. Not only that, the experience, the maturity, understanding the game, the moments of the game. Mercado, obviously, same type of deal. He's able to really dictate the tempo and the movement. Those guys, they don't try to do too much. They just manage the ball, manage the game, look for guys to play off them. Pitt, again, patient in the build. Not looking to overcook things, just methodical in their approach.
Thorson and Svenby trying to connect again on the right. Back centered up for Thorson. Booted out. Now Mayufo gets it wide to Dahl as Pitt switches fields quickly. Mayufo right-footed strike. Wide right.
Not by much, though. And just like Villamitjam in the first half, Mayufo had the time and space to get a shot off. Boston College defending deep. Mayufo receiving it from Dahl, lining one up. Not too far wide of the post there. Mayufo, another guy that Coach Vidovic spoke highly of this week in terms of his development, his growing maturity, his experience. Being a team player and supporting the collective. Something that was talked about with a number of these guys, particularly the guys that have grown through the program.
Gilman up top for McIntyre. Nice job by Klein to come out.
Oh, you always love to see a goalie header. Can't beat it. They're not just one-trick ponies.
Ochoa, a nice look up to Asare.
See, there's Thorson again working back. He's playing the right wing, but he's working back. He's winning balls back and winning his team possession. You love to see it. That's the stuff that doesn't show up in the box score, but that's a player just committed to the team, the effort, understanding their role, understanding what's expected of them. the work that goes unseen. But for Thorson, you know, he doesn't stop running and working for the team.
Thorson, one of those guys last year, obviously all ACC freshman team. But with Pitt last year, they had some growing pains a year ago, and I think he had some as well. This year, he just seems so much more steady, a lot like a lot of this Pitt roster that has returned. Thorson, and you've said it many times, when he gets the ball to his feet, he knows what to do with it immediately.
Yeah, and he doesn't need much of a look at goal to know where to stick it either.
Dahl trying to center it back up into space, and Behar is there. Svenby didn't have enough speed to beat him to the spot. Looking for McIntyre on a header. Looks like he jumped a little bit too early. Now back to Mercado and Svenby.
Critical moments for Boston College right now. They look a little bit tired. Pitt really maintaining possession for extended periods of time, stretching the ball out, creating some traffic in the box. Again, BC's done a good job throughout this game, implementing their game plan, bending, not breaking. We've talked about it, staying organized. But they need to look to get going forward a little bit more, see if they can create themselves some opportunity.
There was Thorson in the mix through that whole stretch in the midfield. Feitosa chipping it for McIntyre in space. CJ Williams tracking back. And who's going to win it? It's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, you see Boston College making some subs now. 3 new sets of legs coming on and sort of looking like they're going to reset to the way they started the game. Eklund making some adjustments. That's definitely what I feel they needed, was some fresh legs, change up the momentum a little bit.
It's definitely back to their original group. Eklund at the top, Guarino in there, Marco Dos Santos as well. But they leave Asare on. So not quite the original group, but strong players in the attack are back out there, and BC needs a goal.
Yeah, but they don't need it just yet, but they definitely need to make sure that they start to take more control of the ball, assert their will onto the game a little bit more effectively. See if they can capitalize on a mistake, see if they can press Pitt into a mistake without getting burned on the other end. Gilman slowing things down. I learned this week that Jackson Gilman's a Norwich City fan. Nice little video posted to Pitt's social media, talked about all their favorite football teams.
How'd you end up seeing that video? Somebody send it to you?
Did you send it to me?
Might have.
I thought I sent it to you.
Well, unfortunately, you don't check your Instagram messages, so you did send it to me, but I did beat it to you.
My favorite part of all of that was when Michael Sullivan got asked his favorite football team, and he said the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the most Pittsburgh answer of all time.
No doubt. Sullivan from nearby Tarentum.
And of course, all the Norwegians love Liverpool. No surprise there. There's like Liverpool bars in Norway.
You know what I didn't hear, though?
What?
I didn't hear in Everton.
Well, they left those ones out. They didn't want to make it seem, you know, too biased, probably. I just assume all the guys that weren't in there are Everton supporters.
See if we can get the Pitt social media team to put you on there.
Probably not a good idea. All my favorite teams are bottom of their leagues.
Xavier O'Neal into the box. That was Michael Sullivan with the stop. Back out to O'Neal now. 1-0 Pitt in the 67th minute. Centered up. Batted away.
Dangerous by BC. Xavier O'Neal might have been the brightest spark for Boston College to this point in time, and he continues to cause Pitt problems down that left-hand side.
O'Neal, a member of the All-ACC freshman team a year ago.
Behar there finds Dos Santos, gets it back out to O'Neal. Quick feet, gives pause to Svenby, and he can't connect with Eklund in the middle on that one.
O'Neal takes the corner. Another dangerous ball centered up toward the goal. Stopped again. It was Guarino with the shot. Couldn't get through that Pitt line.
We talk all the time about how important the first goal is. You alluded to the statistics, but in a game like this, how important is the second goal? You know, I mean, it just, either way, it's going to turn the game on its head. If Pitt gets it, I think that is really going to make it difficult for Boston College to get back into it. But if Boston College can get something through O'Neal down the left-hand side, through a set piece, maybe get something in terms of, you know, a dangerous challenge in the box and get themselves a penalty kick. You never know how it might happen. Talked about last week. You just need one opportunity to get yourself something. And, you know, 20+ minutes left in this game and still plenty of twists and turns ahead. And it's pretty much all dependent on who gets the next goal.
Well, we saw it last week, too, when Louisville was here. There's just one mistake leads to a loose ball in the box, and an unexpected Louisville player, somebody you wouldn't think it'd come from. D'Argento puts it in and changes the complexion of the game. And if BC were to get a goal here right now, it gives them some juice for the late stage of this game.
Absolutely.
The energy can change so quickly.
Yeah, it's amazing what goal will do for you. Get your tail up.
A goal is almost like a Mountain Dew before a broadcast. Just gives you that energy you need. Make it the full 90 minutes.
Both teams continuing to work hard, as we mentioned, very hot here tonight. Boston College has made a series of substitutions here in the second half to try to turn the tide back in their favor.
Ball through here. Here's Asare on Carter. Carter comes up and makes a save. Asare can't believe it.
Massive save by Carter. We talk about those shifts in momentum, the potential there for Boston College to get themselves right back in this game. Carter hasn't been busy, probably his first save of the night, and he has to come up big for his team, and he does. That's what makes him the commander-in-chief. And we've seen it a number of times. I've heard Coach Vidovic talk about it. You need your goalkeeper to make big saves in big moments. Carter's done a tremendous job with that this season.
Carter with a couple of clean sheets, working on his third. 5-0 for Pitt between the pipes.
But Boston College a little bit buoyed by their substitutions. And they have nothing to lose. You know, I mean, you get no points for a loss in the ACC. Get yourself a point for a draw. 3 points for a win, and so as the game winds on, they'll continue to take a few more chances.
Sorry with the win in the midfield. Just had such a beautiful chance against Carter to change the whole complexion of this game. Here's O'Neal now. That was a dangerous ball as well. The run was coming toward the near post. Here's the Asare chance.
Great through ball. Asare just can't quite control it quick enough to get a good shot off. Carter's able to come out, reduce the angle, make himself big, and get the block, then gather up the ball. Asare will want that one back.
Now a corner for BC. Dos Santos takes it. Headed out by Svenby.
On that Asare chance, really great through ball by Moritz Gundelach.
Just shows how clinical that and technical that BC backline can be when they get their moments. There's Gundelach, he'll head off.
Grenning back on. He's going to be looking to see if he can influence this game the way he did in the first half, create chances the way he did in the first half. Replaces Dahl, so he's done for the night.
Mark Boy, number 26, comes on for Gundelach.
Looking like maybe a big throw coming here, the way the throw is backing up. His use of the substitution in that moment.
Big throw into the box.
I do like the use of a big thrower, just so you know, Wheels.
Well, you pointed it out, so I'd assume that you do.
Well, you saw it coming. I mean, I had a player one year, Bobby Frainer, had 8 assists all through big throw-ins. I mean, it was amazing.
That is amazing.
Yep. He was tough to stop with that throw-in. But I mean, even at high levels, Rory Delap used to do it for Stoke City in the Premier League. He was an Ireland international, had a big throw, so you can't beat a big thrower.
First card of the night coming out.
There it is.
Dos Santos.
It's been a pretty clean game, well played. Both teams trying to implement their game plan. To this point, Pitt has the lead and the advantage. Have certainly had the possession. But Boston College has been giving it a solid effort, really been working hard. Well connected across the back, looking for opportunities when they can to go forward.
I mean, this game could very easily be 2-1 right now based on the BC chances. Behar hitting the post in the first half. That Asare chance with just Carter to beat. Here's O'Neill trying to beat Carter. Nice left-handed stop by Cabral Carter once again. The goalie coming up big in big moments.
Yeah, and O'Neill again down that left-hand side, causing the problems. Nice through ball from Eklund. O'Neill is able to get the shot off. And as you mentioned, big save by Carter again.
Carter with 4 saves now. Asare has it taken away.
Sorensen, nice feet, nice footwork there for a centre back to be able to take it off his opponent. Turn and find a way out. Silky smooth, might you say.
Nicholas Silky Sorensen.
He's been good at the back, calm on the ball. Doesn't get flustered, and all of these Pitt players are really good, technically skilled players and able to move the ball out of tight situations.
Looking up top that time. Thorson pressuring Klein. So still extended run here for Eben McIntyre, number 25. Entering the 30-minute range here. Easily a season high in minutes for McIntyre. We see Arnau Villamajana will come on now for Felipe Mercado. Mercado working his way back from injury. Hadn't played the last couple of games before tonight.
Good minutes for Mercado, really brought a nice steadiness to the central midfield. Again, you see the Pitt's depth. To me, the biggest reason they're number 2 in the country right now is not just how they play, which is, you know, a big part of how they're able to exert their will, but the depth to me is the key factor in being able to control the outcomes of games and just wear teams down.
Dos Santos on the right, working on Sorensen, centered up. Svenby boots it away.
Definitely Boston College have seen more of the ball in the attacking third in this second half. While we've seen Pitt substitutions with their front 6 players, not so much with their back 4. You don't see it very often, and so those guys might be tiring out a little bit.
O'Neal, Svenby with a poke.
A good poke at that. Time to perfection.
Dos Santos in the box. Still loose in there, looking for Eklund. Offside.
O'Neal continues to cause Pitt problems. Svenby perfectly timed. Taps it away, disrupts the play.
So there's 5 undefeated teams in ACC play so far. Pitt being one of them at 2-0. Stanford also at 2-0. NC State and North Carolina both 1-0. Carolina with a 2-0 lead now on NC State, number 6 over number 18 down there in Chapel Hill.
Pitt clears it out. It was Leo Guareno looking to cause problems there for Pitt at the back. The Wake Forest transfer wasn't able to find a way through, and Pitt was happy just to get it down the other end and kind of refine their form, refine their spacing. Here's Behar getting forward.
O'Neal and Asare trying to connect. BC looking much better in the second half as they play through Xavier O'Neal. Here's O'Neal. That was Gilman able to get a foot on it for Pitt.
Yeah, O'Neal continues to cause problems down the left-hand side, though. He's dangerous. He's able to get balls into the box. They're tight in the 6-yard box, and it's just going to take 1 foot to get it into the back of the net. We saw there Behar getting up into the play as well. So again, we mentioned BC looking to take a few more chances as we're into the last 12 minutes of this game now.
Get a moment for substitutions again. Luis Samkow and Josh Vicek. Samkow's been quiet tonight, hasn't played a ton. Sorensen will head out. Vicek will take his slot. McIntyre, about 30 plus minutes here in the second half. Couple of nice runs for him.
And so with Sorensen coming off, Vicek coming on to play central midfield, that's going to be Sullivan now dropping back into the centre back position. As we talked about, we've seen it a few times this season.
Stopped there by Sullivan. BC really applying pressure in the last 10 minutes or so. The attacking third on that Pitt back line.
And also I see Svenby's looking a bit worn out down this right-hand side. He may be another one that Pitt's looking to get a break to.
It's got to be credit to Xavier O'Neal and the work he's put in on that left side for BC.
For sure, he's worn him out the second half, but nice stick there again by Svenby. But I'm not sure how many darting runs down the right-hand side we're going to see.
Looking for Grenning up the left. Feitosa found him right away. Grenning going one-on-one. Toward the goal. Still loose in the 6-yard box. CJ Williams will take it away. Samkow was trailing, but he overran the ball off the deflection.
Yeah, and it was a great pass out to Grenning by Feitosa as well that was able to bang out a perfectly weighted distribution to him. So a lot of tired legs.
Last 10 minutes of this one at Ambrose Urbanic Field. Thanks for being with us tonight. Kevin Wheeler and David Day with you. Pitt at number 2 in the country with a 2-0 ACC record. Boston College still searching for their first ACC win of the year at 0-1-1. Lost to Clemson last week. Had a draw with Syracuse in their first ACC match. Dos Santos, nice touch, now working on Svenby. It's still loose. There'll be a foul going the other way. Dos Santos taking down Svenby.
And there you saw an example of those long balls played by goalkeeper Klein. One long piece of distribution, and Dos Santos was looking to cause danger. Svenby, again, getting himself in and breaking up the play. It looks like a tired young man right there. Put in a shift.
Svenby with the assist early in the second half on Albert Thorson's goal. But he's been worked hard here in the last 20-so minutes with Xavier O'Neal patrolling that left touch line. His speed.
And that will certainly be an area that Boston College looks to exploit as this last 10 minutes plays out. See if they can find some tired legs in the Pitt back line. And as we've talked about load management, that's just critical at these moments of games.
Ref will stop the clock on the Asare foul. Looks like he's reaching for the book. And yes, Asare is going to get a card for that one. Michael Asare, the freshman from Ghana. Sam Cow in the center. Still loose. Had a 2-on-1 there for a moment. Now Villamanjana. Feitosa couldn't get it. He was offside.
Yeah, there you saw an example of how Pitt can hunt in packs from time to time. They were looking to press on, win the ball back and jump into the attack. Didn't quite come off for him. A little bit out of rhythm.
That's an area where Sam Cow is so good too, and how long and quick he is up top. Really adds dimension to that press that Pitt misses when he's not out there.
Sam Cow's been really doing well so far this season. 5 goals in the last 3 games is quite the number, and he's already got 6 goals on the season, which is as many as he had all of last season. So all the indicators are up for Pitt. Sam Cow growing in maturity and discipline. We talked about the fact he likes to play on an edge, but he's really been able to play on the right side of the edge and control his aggression in the right way.
Grenning looking for Sam Cow. Kick it back out. Yeah, Jay Vidovich really gave Luis Sam Cow a lot of credit. Said at the end of the year last year, had a conversation with Sam Cow about the way he wanted him to play and be more disciplined as he headed into the offseason in this year, and gave him a lot of credit for putting all of that into action. And yes, he shows that aggression and fire at times, but you know, in years past when he would have gotten a card or committed a foul in a bad moment, he hasn't done that this year. He's controlled things, playing within himself, and I mean, the 6 goals are amazing just from a conversion rate standpoint. He had 9 shots on goal coming into this game, and he converted on 6 of them.
Yeah, his work rate's incredible. Coach Vidovich talked about his improved hold-up play, helping the team connect and play through him, the spaces he gets into, the way that he's able to push through people and lurk in the box, but also get after it and disrupt defenders. And you know, when you talk about wearing teams down, he is a guy that wears defenders down, wears his opponent down. But I've been very impressed with his play so far this season.
'85th minute. Pitt hunting. Out wide to Grenning with space. Centered for Sam Cow. And for now, it's a score. Sam Cow, number 7 on the year. 2-0 Pitt.
Now you talk about the spaces he gets into. The ref's going to go have a look at it and see if he was in an offside space or not. So we'll go to the replay, talk about the hold-up play, being able to play through him. He's able to connect to Feitosa, to Grenning. The ball's almost caught under his feet a little bit, but he gets just enough on it. Let's see if he's behind the ball or not when it's played. Looks kind of like he is to me. Comes right across the 6-yard box, so it's going to be fairly easy to tell. And the players are going to get juiced up, get some refreshments while the ref's having a look at it, so they'll probably appreciate that, get a little bit of a break. Regardless of the outcome, it's important that Pitt's able to close out this result, whether it's 1-0 or 2-0 at this point in the game. So you look at the line where the ball is. It's a sneaky finish. I mean, I don't know to what degree he's intending to do that. I was just looking at the finish. I mean, it sort of goes under his left foot and comes off his back foot, his right foot, and he's able to find the back of the net for it. He's given it a goal. I agree with that decision, referee.
So Sam Cow continues to pour it on this year.
I mean, it's a well-taken goal.
Make that 6 goals now in his last 4 games.
Yeah. And I mean, Grenning, credit to him for the assist, lays it across the top of the 6-yard box. And to be honest, it's clear to see that it's not offside. The ball's just played along that line across the, not only the grass line, but the top of the 6-yard box, and Sam Cow's behind it. So I know Boston College players are upset because that's essentially the game, most likely determined there. But it's a good goal, and Sam Cow's got into just the right space. And again, we've talked about his runs and the spaces he gets into, and he didn't drift offside. He didn't get ahead of the ball. He timed it all up perfectly, and then he's able to make that play where, even though the ball's played, you know, right into his feet, he doesn't get it caught up into his feet. As we've seen from time to time in the past, he's able to clean his first foot out and let it go off his second foot, and however intentionally it was, his body's in the right place at the right time.
So think about 10 shots on goal this year for Luis Samcow, and he's got 7 goals to credit that. On that goal, the near side AR immediately signaled for a video review. So everybody kind of held up for a moment. I think he wasn't even really sure. But now he's surpassed his goal total from a year ago, had 6 last season, already with 7 this year in 8 games. Tops in the ACC.
And that scoring play played through him, but also he finished it. So he's doing the work, getting the results.
Carter will pick it up. Last 5 minutes of this one at Ambrose Urbanic Field. That second goal, really a backbreaker for BC. Last year, these two teams played to a draw, 0-0, up in Chestnut Hill. This one was hard fought at many points. And very easily, this could have been a 2-2 match right now if you think about the couple opportunities that BC had. Hitting the post, having a one-on-one with the goalkeeper at one point here in the second half. Could have been a very different game. That's soccer for you, just a couple inches here and there, and it changes everything.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that Pitt's been as ruthless as maybe they could have been, but they've controlled the ball, they've controlled the tempo of the game for the most part. Been creative in their build-up play, attacked from different areas. And I just think the balance and the depth is really what brings them to the right result for them every time out to this point this season.
They continue to wear teams down.
Yeah, the waves of attack. Obviously, Pitt got some big saves from Carter at the right times. Defenders breaking up, attacking plays off Boston College, but that's what Pitt does. That is how they go about their business from week in to week out. That is their philosophy. And you see it play out here again tonight.
Guilherme Feitosa, the captain in the center, too, gets so many of these runs going. He has 2 secondary assists tonight, so give him 5 on the year. That's tops on the team. Grenning with an assist. Svenby as well. Goals coming from all different directions for these Panthers, and that balanced scoring. I know that Sam Cow kind of tilting things in his direction with 7, but they really can come from all areas of the field. They're dangerous in so many different spots. This is what Jay Vidovich likes to have on his teams. Yeah, I mean, well, Sam Cow is the center forward, and so he is gonna get most of the chances, you would think. But you know, Thorson's done well with his opportunities. I'd certainly look for Grenning to probably get some more goals as this season continues to play out. And then as teams start to focus on those guys, it's going to open things up for other players as well. You saw tonight Vilamit Jama having a couple good rips at goal. Nice back touch. There's Grenning now once again into the 6-yard box. Poked out. This header. Wow, Klein coming off his line and making a stop. What a header by Feitosa there.
He was flying through the air. Just hurled himself at the ball.
Feitosa's tired of serving up for others. He wants a goal of his own. That would have been spectacular. Guarino takes a shot. Too much underneath it. Feitosa with 2 assists tonight, looking for a goal for himself.
Nice little backheel pass to Grenning. Half cleared by BC, and Feitosa just hurls himself at the ball. Klein was up to the challenge, made the save.
Just got off his feet so fast. Captain wants a goal. Nice awareness by Klein, though, to snag it because it was on target.
Well, homecoming weekend here in Pittsburgh, and looks like Pitt soccer team's going to get a win, and in a couple minutes here we'll see fireworks shooting off the Cathedral of Learning over to our right-hand side, and Pitt will be happy with the outcome of this and feel like they've definitely earned the result. A distinct byproduct of their work.
Still pushing on. Svenby looking up top for Sam Cow again.
I think if you're Boston College, you can take a lot of positives from this. I mean, again, you talked about earlier, Boston College hadn't beat a ranked team in about 5 years, and so, okay, they weren't able to tonight, but they came in and they held really strong, had a solid game plan, and I think really showed a lot of resilience and created some chances of their own to try to cause the upset. And I think they can walk out here with their heads held high, knowing that they're a good soccer team as well, and if they keep working like this and staying organized and disciplined and sticking to their philosophy, they're going to get some great results themselves this season.
You got to give BC credit. You don't really see those crooked results anymore. Bob Thompson's got his team moving in the right direction, making these ACC matches close. But it's Pitt tonight, number 2 ranked team in the country, with a 2-0 win on their home field. First 3-0 start to conference play for Pitt since that College Cup season back in 2020-21.
We call that doing